The original Planet of the Apes movies introduced dozens of characters throughout its 5-film run, with several going on to become iconic faces of the franchise. I'm here to count down my top 5 favorites of them all. If you like what I do here and want to show your support, be sure to hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on all things apes. Enjoy the video. Welcome to Ape Nation, your #1 source for all things Planet of the Apes on YouTube. My name is Josh, and today we are counting down my top 5 favorite characters from the original Planet of the Apes movies. This will not include any characters from Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes or the recent Caesar trilogy with Rise, Dawn, and War. It will just be the original 5 movies. So the original Planet of the Apes, Beneath, Escape, Conquest, and Battle. I will of course be doing another top 5 characters when it comes to the new trilogy, and then eventually I'll probably do like a top 5 or a top 10 of all-encompassing favorite characters. But for now, I'm just doing my top 5 characters from the original series of films. And without further ado, let's get started with some honorable mentions. I just have a couple quick ones I wanted to get out of the way before we get into the number 5. First honorable mention is Mr. MacDonald from Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Really incredible character played by Harry Rhodes. One of my favorites, but just did not crack the top 5. Next honorable mention, and I know this one might be a little controversial, Taylor. I love Taylor. Everyone loves Taylor. He's a great character. He's the iconic character from the original movie. Just didn't quite crack the top 5, but I do think he's great. Charlton Heston's awesome in the role. And then my one other honorable mention is Dr. Zayas. This is one of the all-time classic cinema villains. I think he's great. I think the character's really interesting, and I think he has some of the best dialogue in the entire series. But again, just didn't quite crack my personal top 5. So with all of that out of the way, let's get to the top 5, starting with number 5, and that would be Dr. Hasslein. Dr. Hasslein is the villain from Escape from the Planet of the Apes, played incredibly by Eric Braeden. I think this is a really fantastic character. I think he's such a complex villain. I love that when you really just look at him as a character, not a villain, not a hero, he's just someone who wants to do what's best for humanity. He's the hero of his own story, and that's something that I really love about him the most. You're not going to see a whole lot of villains on this list. I am someone who tends to lean towards good characters, hero characters, the good guy, but when you have a really compelling villain like this, someone who is maybe not necessarily empathetic, but understandable. You can listen to what he has to say and hear his arguments and go, yeah, actually, I understand where he's coming from. I don't necessarily completely agree, but I don't completely disagree either, and I think his arguments are valid. His fears about what could happen to humans and what could happen to Earth are completely understandable. They're completely valid.
That's what I'm worried about later. Later, we'll do something about pollution. Later, we'll do something about the population explosion. Later, we'll do something about the nuclear war. We think we got all the time in the world. How much time has the world got? Somebody has to begin to care.
I really love the way Eric Braeden plays the character. He brings this unsettling charisma, if that makes any sense. He has this ability to make you like and trust him to a degree, while still being just a little bit unsettling and keeping you aware that something is not quite right with him, that he is the villain, but you're enamored by him and you are fascinated by him and you're compelled by him and his arguments in a way. So that is why he is my number 5. I think Dr. Hasslein is a really, really great character and my personal favorite villain of the entire original series. Coming in at number 4, Armando. I love Armando. I think most people love Armando. His compassion for animals is one of my favorite things about him, if not my favorite thing about him. Ricardo Montalban brings this warmth and this really lovable presence to the character. You see how protective he is of Caesar and of Cornelius and of Zira and the animals in his life. He has this really old, gentle soul. And like I said, he's just infinitely lovable. In a franchise that has so much sadness and so much darkness a lot of the time and is all about the power struggle between humans and apes, he's just this one element of pure goodness in the whole world.
I did it because I like chimpanzees best of all apes. And you, the best of all chimpanzees. I did it because I hate those who try to alter destiny, which is the unalterable will of God. And if it is man's destiny one day to be dominated, then, oh, please, God, let him be dominated by such as you.
He is kind of the most pure figure in the entire series, and I really love him. I think he's a great character, and that is why he is number 4 on this list. Coming in at number 3, Cornelius. Who doesn't love Cornelius? I think this is probably some people's number 1 favorite character. For me, he's number 3. I think he's incredibly charismatic. Roddy McDowall's performance in the role is iconic. He's such a smart character. He's such a funny character. He's so kind-hearted. Something I also really love about him is his relationship and his love for Zira. It really comes through in these movies, even from the original all the way through Escape. I think it really adds to his character and makes him even more relatable in a way. And like I said, he's just so charismatic. He's a character that you watch on screen and go, I would like to sit down and have a beer with that guy. I'd like to sit down and have a conversation with him. He's such a cool character. He's such a grounded, nice character. And again, he's very smart. I think he has a lot of wisdom. So that's why I really love Cornelius, and that is why he is number 3 on this list.
Beware the beast man, for he is the devil's pawn. Alone among God's primates, he kills for sport, or lust, or greed. Yea, he will murder his brother to possess his brother's land. Let him not breed in great numbers, for he will make a desert of his home and yours. Shun him. Drive him back into his jungle lair, for he is the harbinger of death.
Coming in at number 2, Zira. This was a real struggle for me to not put her at number 1. I love Zira so much. In my Escape for the Planet of the Apes review, I went on for a while about how much I love this character, so I'm not going to talk too much more. But Zira is just a lovable and really funny character. I think the way that Kim Hunter portrays her, especially in Escape from the Planet of the Apes, is amazing. And going back to what I said about Cornelius, her love for Cornelius is another thing that adds to her character, makes her so relatable, makes her so loving. Her compassion for other people, humans and apes, it really is something that adds to that strong nature of hers. She's not a pushover. She's kind-hearted and she's compassionate, but she doesn't go down without a fight. She's very strong-willed, and I really, really admire that about her. I think she's a fantastic character. She's one of my favorites just in general in movies, and that is why she is number 2 on this list.
I'm taking him out of here.
He's vicious, Doctor. Besides, it's against the rules.
Do as I say! You wouldn't hurt me, would you? Taylor?
And of course, if you hadn't guessed it already, you could probably guess by now who my number 1 character is. And I feel like this is number 1 for a lot of people if it's not Cornelius or Zira. It is Caesar. I adore Caesar. And it really is incredible that we have 2 versions of this character in this series, and both of them are amazing. Caesar is, to me, I think the most relatable character in the entire series. He's the most empathetic by far. The arc that he goes on in Conquest of the Planet of the Apes is incredibly powerful to see. It's heartbreaking in some ways, but seeing this orphan ape who never knew his parents, who is the one intelligent ape in the entire world, go on this journey and become a hero to his fellow apes and become a leader and ultimately be the one who is responsible for leading the ape rebellion and leading the ape revolution to the world that we eventually see.
Your creature, your animal. But I saw you die. The king is dead. Long live the king!
I love seeing him as this character that takes apes from a primitive species to leaders of the world. And I already talked about Roddy McDowall when it comes to Cornelius, but I think his performance as this character is even better. I think it's even more memorable. And the way he's able to portray that vulnerability and able to evoke empathy out of you as an audience member, but then you can really feel how intense he is as this strong, powerful leader. And I never get tired of watching. And while I do have my issues with Conquest of the Planet of the Apes as a movie here and there, the thing that always keeps me coming back to watch the movie is the character of Caesar. He is one of the best in the entire franchise, and that is why he is my number 1.
And we shall build our own cities in which there will be no place for humans except to serve our ends. and we shall found our own armies, our own religion, our own dynasty, and that day is upon you now!
So that was my top 5 favorite characters from the original Planet of the Apes series. Let me know what you think of my list. As with all lists, these are all completely just my subjective opinion. If you have a different one, I'd love to hear it down in the comments, so be sure to leave your top 5 favorite characters from the original Planet of the Apes series down below. Thank you so much for checking out today's video here on Ape Nation. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on all things apes. I'll catch you in the next one, so until then, goodbye.